Despite everything positive in your life, you are still being held back by the emotions of your past on today's episode of Oblyron Divination. Greetings, soul family. I am Oblyron, the Lord of Love and the Magister of the Cube. Thank you for joining me on today's elemental synastry reading. It's a divination technique I devised which uses the tarot, astrology, and the 5 elements. So we start off by drawing a tarot card to see what is influencing that particular element, and then we use the astrology die for the advice, or let's say the likely outcome. Now this is a reading which transcends space and time, so if this resonates with you, then this message is meant for you. And if you do resonate with it, then leave a comment to let us know how you resonate with it. Okay, so what is influencing the element of spirit? We have the 4 of Wands. Okay, so we got sort of a bit of a celebration, or a bit of, let's say, it's time to kind of take a step back and recognize what we've been going through and really kind of celebrate our accomplishments. The 4 of Wands is the Lord of perfected work, and yeah, definitely after having having to go through the trials and tribulations in our life, that there is definitely time to take a step back and to rejoice over what we've accomplished. So this is influencing the spirit right now, which is telling me that perhaps we are going to see some of the fruits of our labor. We are going to feel like the work that we've put into what we've been doing is actually going to pay off. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't always feel like, we're just having to commit to a life of toil and just drudgery. So let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. Okay, we've got Mercury and Pisces in the 10th house. All right, let me line this up real quick. So I roll once for the house, and then I roll a second time for the decan. Let's see where Pisces went. There we go. Okay, so 10th house, which decan? Oh, 7, which means we are in the middle decan of Pisces. Okay. Very interesting. So we have... Okay, so the middle decan of Pisces is basically considered sort of Jupiter's house. And what's really interesting is that, again, it also calls for a bit of a celebration. Like, regardless of whether times have been good or bad, now we are in, let's say, a place where we feel very welcomed. A place where everyone knows our name. The middle decan of Pisces is the Lord of material happiness. And again, because it's influenced by Jupiter, or I should say the middle decan is influenced by Jupiter. That's a planet that influences it. And again, that's why it's also called Jupiter's house. So what's interesting is we have the 4 of Wands, which is telling us to kind of take a moment to rejoice in our accomplishments, and we also have Jupiter's house coming in on the 10th house as well, which has to do with our careers and status. So again, here it's sort of 2 influences which are saying, look, you've made it. Just enjoy the fruits of your labor. It seems like what it's trying to suggest. With Mercury here influencing it, it would say that perhaps we need to be looking towards our communication and towards how we communicate in our careers, and how we communicate by either using our status in life, or let's say by using our intellectual endeavors as well. So there's a lot of mental work going on here with this celebration as well. Let's see what some of the other elements have to say about that. Okay. So we're moving on to the element of fire, which is represented by the wands, and that generally has to refer to, let's say, the human spirit. It has to do with our drive and ambitions. It is, let's see, it's definitely sort of, let's say, the first energy that humans are able to relate to as they transcend from the spirit, if that makes any sense. Anyways, the human spirit, let's just say that. Human spirit and drive. Okay, oh, that one looks like it might want it to come out a little bit. Okay, the Queen of Wands. All right. Okay. It's interesting how fire is also represented by the Queen of Wands, which is another dose of fire. The Queen of Wands generally has to deal with, let's say, a type of person who has the ability to have it all, the ability to have the home and the home life and the career life, or maybe let's say having a home life isn't a priority. It could also be, let's say, having a life which you find self-fulfillment, as well as being able to balance that with perhaps a 9-to-5 or owning a business or something to that extent. That's what the Queen of Wands represents. And the fact that it's influencing our fire is saying that, and I also think it's really interesting that over here we have the Four of Wands, a lot of fire energy. So it's really interesting in that it's saying, again, here is another type of successful archetype, which is also being reiterated in the spirit, and also being reiterated with the middle decan of Pisces. We have basically sort of the Lord of perfected success, combined with the Lord of material happiness, and then also being influenced by the Queen of Wands. So there's a lot of victorious triumph which is happening. Let's see what the astrology die have to say about that. All right, so we got Venus in Aries in the 11th house. All right. Okay, let's re-roll for the decan. 4. So we're in the first decan of Aries. All right. Okay, so it's really interesting in that we have also have the fire energy represented by Aries. And here is the actual start of the zodiac, the very first decan, which starts off the new cycle of the zodiac. It is the Lord of Dominion, and it's when a person is about to embark on a journey, or when they're about to start something, and they have every bit of confidence that they know they can do the job, but they haven't quite fulfilled those shoes yet. It's knowing when to trust in your abilities, even if those abilities aren't quite proven yet, I guess would be another way to put it. And the fact that the fact that it's in the 11th house right here is really is also saying that, perhaps this could be some sort of enterprise, let's say either online, or it could also be it could also be something kind of let's say revolutionary in nature. So whatever the Queen of Wands or whatever the element of fire is going to be embarking upon, or whatever it's starting, it's definitely the road less traveled. It's not something which is commonly taken. But also with it being influenced by Venus over here, it's very beneficial in saying that, regardless of whatever happens, there will be a lot of things that will come to fruition from it. And so, again, everything may not be proven yet, but don't be afraid to strike out into that new ground, because again, you will be seeing those rewards pay off, and you have the ability to basically manifest anything you want to right now, with this Queen of Wands. So very, very beneficial so far. All right, let's move along and see what the other elements have to say. So we're moving on to the element of air, which is represented by the swords, and it can also represent our intellectual pursuits, our communication, sometimes technology, depending on what it is, but those types of endeavors. All right. All right, so here we have the Five of Wands, or rather the inverted Five of Wands, and generally in its upright position, it's showing some kind of conflict. So in the inverted position, it could suggest a sort of end to the conflict. And I would say with the rest of this reading, that is definitely what it seems to be pointing to. So whatever has been happening, let's say, either with communicating to other people, or with what you've been pursuing, let's say, or studying up on, or whatever, a lot of those conflicts are going to come to an end, and you're going to find the ability to kind of step more into the flow. And again, with the rest of these elements being, very beneficial and sort of being lined up to be, hey, trust your instincts, go with it. Well, this will definitely help to secure that position. So yeah, let go, step more into the flow. The conflict is coming to an end, so just take a moment to sort of ride the wave of good vibes, essentially, is what I'm kind of getting from this. All right, what do the astrology die have to say about that? Okay, so we have Uranus in Aries in the 4th house. Okay. What's interesting is we have the 11th house over here, and we have Uranus over here. Uranus rules the 11th house. So a lot of, let's say, maybe, again, a lot more avant-garde attitudes, a lot less convention is what we can also kind of expect too. Okay, so we're in the 4th house. Let's see what decan we're in. First decan again. Wow, there are a lot of new endeavors happening with this. So we have the first decan of Aries over here, and then we have the first decan of Aries over here. One is influenced by the 11th house, and one is influenced by Uranus. Very interesting. So again, a lot of, excuse me for a moment, a lot of starts, a lot of new endeavors that's happening here. You may feel like, okay, well, we're also in the 4th house over here, which is suggesting the home life as well. So, okay, so it's interesting. Okay, this is starting to come together a little bit more. We have, we have the home life in Cancer, and we also have our views towards society in the 11th house. And we are sort of on this new start. Again, whatever feeling that's come over us, or whatever we're going through, we know that it'll be fine on some sort of weird level, even though the way may not be proven, even though the way may not even be its most clear. We know we have the abilities to overcome this. And if that is, let's say, if that either has to come with changing how we view our perspectives of society, or even if we change our perspectives of how we view our home life, there is definitely a certain element of change which needs to be recognized, or maybe a step into, maybe not necessarily change, as also, let's say, change used with more conventional methods. But a lot of this Uranus energy is definitely calling for, let's say, a reorganization or a re-strategizing of how we view things. Okay, very, very interesting. Let's see, 30. All right. Almost. All right. We almost have some other things for me, but not quite yet. Let's see what else we have. Okay. So now we're moving on to the element of Earth, which is represented by the Pentacles. The element of Earth could represent spiritual as well as material wealth, and it could also represent the physical body as well. Okay. So what is Earth being influenced by? Strength. Okay. So it is being influenced by strength, and strength is also, in astrological terms, the strength card is represented by Leo. So it's very interesting. We have some more fire energy. Practically, yeah, in every single one of these, we have an element of fire associated with every single other element. So, yeah, a lot of fire energy. Wow. Okay. So strength is influencing the element of Earth, which could suggest that we are in a position to either have the material or financial means to carry out our will, or we can also expect that perhaps within the body we are experiencing, let's say, a new sense of fortitude as well. A couple of different things like that. I think it's really interesting in the fact that, again, we do have a lot of fire, which is influencing this reading. So overall, that would suggest, well, perhaps, again, we have this sort of triumph of the human spirit, which is why so much fire is coming up, which is why everything is sort of saying, okay, the conflict is over, go with the flow, you have everything you need, you have the ability to balance out your home life, you have the ability to balance out your career, and again, also with, even in the element of the spirit, it's saying to sort of relax because you've worked really hard, and this is a very, it seems to, it only seems fitting that the strength card is topping off the element of Earth. So let's see what the astrology die have to say. All right, we got the moon in Scorpio in the 9th house. Okay, let's move this around. All right, the moon in Scorpio in the 9th house. All right, and let's re-roll for the decan. 7. So the middle decan of Scorpio. All right. Okay, so what this would suggest is, yeah. So the middle decan of Scorpio is the Lord of Pleasure, and it is also sort of a very nostalgic card. So here it's saying that part of that strength that we're experiencing, part of that fortitude, this newfound fortitude, comes in reconnecting perhaps either with our past in a certain way, or perhaps by letting go and establishing more pleasurable means of living. I would say with, yeah, especially as we have Venus over here, which was influencing how we view a lot of society. I would say, yeah, we're definitely seeing some remnants pop up over here. So, and of course, it's also being influenced by the moon, which would lead towards our inner guidance as well. So I would say through searching that inner guidance, and oh yeah, and I also forgot, we're in the 9th house, which is the house of Sagittarius, another fire sign, and it would have to deal with things like, let's say, philosophy, travel, higher learning, everything to that nature, and also spirituality. With the moon here, I would say that definitely it would suggest finding those answers through the more spiritual aspects of what Sagittarius has to offer. And again, looking to one's own intuition, looking to that inner guidance and listening to that inner voice to enhance and strengthen this newfound sense of fortitude. And let's see. Yeah, and then also enjoying the process as well. Just looking towards, again, everything in this reading suggests to just relax more and to enjoy the process. Okay, all right, let's move right along. So moving on to the last element, we have water, which is represented by the cups. And let's see. Okay. If we get another fire card, I won't be too surprised. I mean, the rest of them have been fire. So we'll see. Okay. You seem to want to come out. Oh! Okay. I guess if it's too good to be true, perhaps it is. Alright. Man, I was hoping this whole reading would just be positive. So here we have the inverted Ten of Cups, which generally will suggest some type of disruption to the family life. The Ten of Cups is normally called the family card. It could also be called the Lord of Perfected Success. And in its inverted position, it's when we can, like I say, maybe there is a disruption to the family life. Maybe there is something which is disrupting our joy. With it having to relate to the element of water, it would suggest that despite all of this positivity which is happening in the rest of the reading, on an emotional level, something deep within our core, maybe our inner child, is saying that something isn't quite right yet, or maybe it hasn't been healed. Again, all this stuff is just sort of on the precipice. Yeah, a lot of relaxation may be coming, a lot, the conflict may be ending, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we could have everything that we want, and still there could be something missing, regardless of whatever that is. So, yeah, this will really suggest to look towards those deep emotional issues, those deep root sort of issues that we may have that could stem way back, possibly in early childhood. It could even extend back to past lives as well. But yeah, really look towards those types of things to see what is causing this sort of disruption, and what is causing, this disconnect for us to be able to enjoy everything else positive around us. All right, let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. All right, more Scorpio. Scorpio, we have Venus in Scorpio in the 6th house. Okay. So, let's line that up real quick, and let's re-roll for the decan. All right. First decan of Scorpio. All right. Well, that would suggest a lot of things then. All right. Well, this is making a little bit more sense. Okay, so here we have Venus in the first decan of Scorpio in the 6th house. And the first decan of Scorpio is the mourning card. That's mourning, like mourning the loss of a loved one. And it is also called the Lord of Loss of Pleasure. So it would it would make really a lot of sense that we would have the inverted 10 associated with the Lord of Loss of Pleasure. Okay, and with that being... All right, let me mull this over really quick. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's saying that... So there could be two things that's influencing this. One is the 6th house is ruled by Virgo, and sometimes the Virgo in the tarot is represented by the Hermit card, and a lot of that has to attribute to Virgo's sense of perfectionism. Virgo wants to be isolated because they want to be that perfect person that they can be. And I would say when you place the bar too high for yourself, it goes beyond just being constructive criticism or any of that kind of stuff. It turns into a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy of self-ruin. And that seems to be what's happening here. We have disrupted joy with the Lord of Loss of Pleasure in Virgo. So to me it would suggest, again, it would suggest that the perfectionistic nature of Virgo is starting to come out and to really influence, to influence us on, let's say, a deeply emotional level. That despite everything that's happening here, all the positivity saying, look, you've won, you've got it, everything's going to be fine, we still have this deep emotional doubt. And with Venus being the planet that was rolled, it would again suggest that, perhaps stop and smell the roses and appreciate the beauty of what you have created, of what you have done, and learn to essentially sort of forgive yourself as well. Let go a lot. Let go of a lot of the past. Let go of a lot of those things which, you said, if only I knew more, I could have done better or whatever. A lot of that stuff has to just be let go. None of us is perfect, and we all make mistakes. And sometimes if we wallow too much in our past, and if we get hung up on it too much, then again, we don't have this... We don't have the ability to see all the positive, the rest of the positive aspects of our life. Okay, so let's see. let's see if there's any other things we can say about this. Let's see, we got sextiles. No, these two are just out of reach. Let's see, conjunctions, 7, 10, 12. No, those are just out of reach. Oh, come on, I know we have something here. Let's see, is this? Oh! Looks like we have 30, 60. Yeah, looks like we got a sextile here. Okay, so we have... So when we have something like this, it's basically saying that the lesson between these two are one and the same, because we're starting to have aspects come together for this. And okay, yeah. So what you would do is you would take the more positive aspect, which is the air in this case, and use that to help turn, let's say, the more negative aspect, or you know, the less positive aspect, I guess we can also say. So it would suggest that we would need to, again, the conflict is over, and we, even though we may be going into uncharted territory, realize that it is a necessity to get over what we've experienced in the past. Okay? So, and again, even if that means also restructuring and reviewing how we see the people in our lives, especially our home life, again, it'll lead to something better. Whatever the restructuring is, whatever the rebirth is of what it is we have to go, it'll help to erase this. So follow the element of air to remedy or to heal the element of water. All right, that's a good lesson there. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, that's just almost out. Let's see. We have... I think we may have an opposition here. Okay, so we do have an opposition. All right, and it is between the element of air and the element of spirit. All right. So sometimes oppositions will sort of mean conflicting energies, but also sometimes it could be a beneficial arrangement in the opposites attract phenomenon. I would say here, yeah, here it would also suggest to use what these two are trying to tell us. And let's see. Yeah, so here, okay, lots of air going on there. Okay, so here it's saying between our work and between our home. Okay, very interesting. Between our work and our home, there is no conflict, and we also need to just enjoy and relax what is about to manifest, basically. It's saying, okay, all right, I kind of see how this is all getting connected here. So this is saying, it's sort of reiterating that the conflict is over, and that good times are about to manifest. And so this opposition helps to sort of amplify this sextile over here. Okay, yeah. So again, it's just all in our head. It's already over, and we're going on to greener pastures, apparently. All right. Well, I think that's about it for today. Yeah, if you've resonated with this, then leave a comment and let us know how you resonated with it. Yeah, it was a pretty beneficial reading. I think even for the emotional nature of the inverted joy card, you know, despite that, you know, we still have a pretty good reading overall. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope you got something from this, and I hope to see you again next week as well. Much love and blessings. I love you all, and thanks again. See you next week.